Hello, I'm Yinka and welcome to Out of Frame. Have you ever wondered how an idea for a story turns into a blockbuster movie? Who are the people that make your favourite film and TV shows come to life? Well, this is the podcast to find out. Every week, I'm stepping inside CrewHQ, a training centre based at the heart of Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden, to pull back the film industry curtain like you've never seen before. This is Out of Frame. Here at CrewHQ, we are always championing new and up-and-coming talent within the world of film and TV, and showing you exactly what it takes to be part of it. Today, I'm joined by Kareem Adelekan. Kareem is an editorial trainee, working within the post-production department. Post-production is everything that transforms what's been filmed on set into an exciting, glossy blockbuster. Today, we're going to find out exactly what that process is like. Kareem, welcome to Out of Frame.
Thank you for having me.
How you feeling?
I was cool, but then I saw these lights and I was like, oh, this is...
Do you feel under pressure?
Kind of, yeah, a bit. I mean, I'm not used to being in the spotlight, so...
Well, of course, because you're behind the camera, right?
Yeah.
But don't worry, this is a room full of friends. It's a podcast full of friends. You're in very good hands. Before we get into the work of what post-production looks like, I'd love to find out a little bit more about who Kareem is through your love of film. So what's the last film that you watched that really inspired you?
I just watched it recently, one battle after another.
Boom.
Yeah.
Banging movie.
Which was great.
Correct.
It was so good.
What about it was inspirational?
It was just a lot different from the films I usually watch. And it was just, it felt very like thorough and thought out. Like, you know, it wasn't just some basic action movie. It was just, it felt very like real as well in some moments and relatable. So, that was a really good one. I'd say it's probably one of my favorite movies this year, if not my favorite movie this year.
What would the title of your biopic be?
Probably Getting Through It would be the title. Yeah, just getting through it. I feel like most of my life I've just been trying to like just get through it and break a barrier each and every day. So I'd say that would be a good title for me, Getting Through It. So,
I tell you what, because you're relatively the start of your career, that can be, you know, like Act 1. Mm-hmm. And then later on we'll revisit.
Yeah.
And then we'll get Act 2, Act 3. Because I'm sure that later on, you'll be like, I got through it.
Yeah.
Kareem, how soon does post-production actually begin when it comes to making movies?
As they're filming, that's when it begins, because the editor would start editing as soon as they received, let's say, like the first scene. Let's say that the first scene is scene 1. As soon as they start filming and it's been, you know, it's been dropped off at the dailies lab, it's been processed, then handed off to editorial. That's when, we'll then go through sorting it, sorting out paperwork, sorting out the rushes and organizing it for the editor. So then he can start cutting like immediately. So yeah, post-production starts pretty soon after filming.
Right now, you're working specifically with editing in visuals. Where does your team begin?
I come in and immediately I help out my second assistant editor, Samuel. So I help him out, and he's usually bringing in all the paperwork first thing. It varies depending on when the editor needs the footage and how quickly they need it. But the first couple things that would happen is they'll bring in all the paperwork and sort it into different folders. So they'll bring in the DIT shooting report, the continuity, such as the edit logs and the line script, stuff like that. They'll bring in a various amount of sort of paperwork and sort that out first to make sure it's all good and neat and, you know, prepared for the editors to look and see what's been shot that day. And then afterwards, we would then go on to organizing rushes. So
and rushes is the footage that's been filmed?
Yeah, the footage that's been filmed that day. So let's say that day was shot, let's say, scene 34. We would then tell the editors, okay, scene 34 is here. I'm going to prepare to, you know, organize it for you and get it to you as fast as possible. They'll say, yes, thank you, good. They may come back and say, actually, could you do scene 50 for me first? Because I want to start doing that first. So then, yeah, depending on what they want, you start doing that first. You start organizing. And then once you have it all organized and labeled, telling them what is what, then that's when you sort of hand it off to them. So and put it in their scene bins. So it's paperwork and then organizing rushes and then sort of general tidy up afterwards would be the general day.
And how long does that take?
It depends on the amount of footage that comes in. But on average, let's say 3-4 hours to do all that. Because with sorting out footage, you have to be very meticulous. And there's so many little variations in footage. So you have to like really watch through every single thing and make sure like, okay, this happens here, you mark it, this happens here. So yeah, it's a very like, you have to be very careful with how you organize everything. Especially
if you're looking for continuity and things like that. I mean, that is the job, right?
Yeah. So like there is the continuity reports. So then it tells you exactly what's been shot that day. So we have that to help us out. So just right before we hand off the footage to the editor, we look through the continuity reports and make sure that it correlates to everything that's there.
Of course.
And depending on the unit that's shooting that day, which is whether it's main unit or second unit, the reports could look very, very different. So it's just about like, they make notes of what's been shot, how many takes, and any sort of discrepancies in the footage or anything in the background that may need to be removed. So sometimes you could have the booms come in and they let you know, oh, from this time code, boom is here, so then later on down in the process, the VFX department can sort of clean that out. So it's just stuff like that you're looking for.
How much footage is recorded to make one scene?
Let's say for a scene where they're in a courthouse or something like that, that could take a long time because they're trying to get several angles. So again, that depends on just what you're shooting exactly.
I can imagine that it's almost like the limit does not exist because especially when you're dealing with high-end film, high-end TV, it's going to be really rare that it's a one take scenario. Even if they get it in the first take, they have to ensure just in case anything.
They might do one take, think it's really, really good. And like that could be enough, but then they'll do like a safety take. So just in case anything happens to that, we still have this and we can still use this to, go to this angle or that angle.
Something that I've learned on this podcast is just how crucial every role is. How do you see yourself in the bigger picture?
The reason why assistant editors go through this is because we want to make it as easy for them. And also we don't want the editors to have to think outside of that creative space. We want them to think creatively about the story. And that's it. We don't want them to worry about, oh, why is this like this? Why is this like this? So we go through this process to make sure it's as easy and straightforward for the editor so they can start, going through the stories and thinking what to do with the footage.
There are loads of different elements that make up a film outside of the visuals. Who else are your team working with?
There are VFX companies and sound companies that are involved in the process, but they get involved at different stages. So sound does get involved at a later stage when sort of gets to that finishing process in the edit. Whereas VFX is involved very, very early on. A VFX production person will go on set and after the take is done, or even before the take is done, they would then have this like shine, like a ball, like on a stick.
I've seen those like a tennis ball, or sometimes wrapped in foil.
Something like that. But it would be like a ball on a stick, and it will have two different materials. It would have a shiny material and it would have like a matte material, and they face them at the camera both ways, so that so whoever does the VFX in post can figure out sort of how light is working in the area. VFX get involved as they're filming, so very early on. So that's generally around what I know.
When you're sort of collating your data and you're making your folders, can you hear what's being said as well? Is it just visual?
With going through dailies and sorting and organizing, you have to be able to hear the footage to know when the director calls action and when they call cut. So that's one thing we do, is that when going through dailies, we put markers on when they call action, so that when it does get handed off to the editor, he can go to the marker straight away and just play from there.
And when does the director step in and have their say?
As scenes are coming in, the editor will edit that scene, and then they could possibly send it off to the director. Well, just that scene. So let's say they've edited scene 56 or something like that, or scene 70, and that's all they've edited at that moment. They might just send off to the director to see how they like it, get some feedback, and and continue refining and going through it again. But yeah, the director will come in again to see when the entire thing has been assembled. So then that would be like the first sort of big meeting or big session, you would say. So yeah, that's usually how it goes.
It must feel so funny for you, because I know if I was in the position, I would find it hilarious to sort of be working on something, and in lieu of a monster or a massive special effect, you've got someone going rah, or like a little light flashing, and then later on you see what that becomes. It must be such a weird experience.
It's you'll see some guy with like animated characters, you see some guy holding up like a furry animal, and like he's dressed in like a whole green costume. So then that's like sort of bloopers is quite funny to see. It's just some guy holding up a light saw, like a furry toy or something like that. But yeah, to see it then being transformed, little by little through each versions, and then to see the final finished version is unreal. It's pretty cool. So
what have you worked on recently where you've seen something like this happen?
So I've recently worked on a Warner Brothers production. They had this thing where they wanted this monument, or this monument to be destroyed, and at first it's just like the building, and that's the scene. Like it's just the building, and like that's it. No explosions, no nothing. But then as the versions went on, you could see how the VFX team was slowly like crumbling it.
Oh wow!
And it was going down.
Yeah.
It looks really, really rough at that start. It's like just stuff flying everywhere. But then slowly, it the physics sort of come together, and it starts crumbling, and it looks more real and more real and more real. So that's like sort of a cool experience to see. Yeah, so that was funny and fun at the same time.
Some people might be familiar with the term director's cut. What does that actually mean?
There's multiple cuts. There's the rough cut or the assembly cut, which is just all the footage just together in timeline order.
Okay.
And it's usually very, very rough at start, because it's just the story order and making sure that's how they want the story to progress. And then you have the first cut, second cut, which they just more refine it and just get the cuts more tighter, and really sort of play with emotions when assembling shots. And then you have things like the director's cut, where the direct is more how the director likes it and their preferred way of how they want the story to flow. And then you have stuff like the producer's cut or the studio cut, I think. So where it's little notes that are made from the studio that would then go into the story. And then you sort of have these different versions to play with and sort of make the most out of. So, yeah.
It's one of the things that I most miss about DVDs. I can tell you that for free, because the director's cut of Titanic is about a week long. Kareem, every week on Out of Frame, I ask the exceedingly talented individuals to bring something into the CrewHQ studio, a visual representation of what their job is like on the day-to-day. So can you tell me about this very colourful thing?
This is an Avid keyboard, and yeah, this is the most entertaining thing I could bring. There was nothing that looks around and I was like, oh yeah, let me bring that.
To the untrained mind, this looks like a regular QWERTY keyboard, but you just got excited and put your own stuff on it.
Yeah.
What does it do?
On each key, it's got different labels of certain functions of Avid Media Composer. So when using Avid, there's so many functions, there's so many sort of buttons and key binds you have to learn to navigate the software, and this really just tells you exactly what each key does. So,
can I see it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I noticed some of them. So like play, sort of shift backward, shift forward. So if I'm on Avid, which is the editing software that you use, what does it do? Like, what does it do?
So let's say you're on a timeline and you want to pick a specific section to put in a cut. So the E. Yeah, so E would be mark in.
Okay.
And then R would be mark out.
Okay.
So that's your in and out points. And then when you press V or B.
Now you're testing me. V, A, B, C, D. V, red, yeah.
V would be to splice in. So splicing in would be, like, let's say there's a bunch of different clips on the timeline. V would put the clips in but then shift certain clips aside.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And like the app Splice?
Yeah. And then B would be to do the same thing, but not shift, to overwrite other clips.
Oh.
So,
that's why they're in red.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it being red is sending you like, be careful. Yeah.
Be very careful.
That was good.
What difference does having a keyboard like this make to your job?
As a trainee like me, I'm still learning how to navigate Avid and just trying to train myself every single day. So then let's say I'm looking for a function, but I just forget the function. Just look at the keyboard and it might tell you exactly what that is.
Okay.
So it just makes it very, very easy to know where most of your keys are, depending on if you personalized it or not. So
I hear that. And what do you think about when you look at this keyboard? Because to me, it feels like I've made it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because this is some serious piece.
Yeah. I just think of like storytelling when I look at the keyboard. Like, I've got one at home. And so then like when I'm editing my short films and stuff, it's just like, it's right there, just tell a really, really great story.
I think something like this sort of sits right in between what people used to do and what people do now and the future, if you know what I mean. Because, keyboards have been around for such a long time, but obviously it's like multifunctional and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where do you see the process of post going?
I mean, there's all this talk about AI and stuff.
There is.
So I've already seen how AI has been used in post, and it just makes things so much easier. I don't prefer AI in the final product of a film. So I would like people to actually do the work. But in the background, AI just makes things so much easier, so much quicker as well. So is that AI is pushing post-production to be a lot easier and quicker, I would say.
In what ways does it make things easier?
Let's say you needed someone to redo this line because in the take there was something in the background that was screaming or just making too much noise. You would have to go through ADR to do that. So ADR would be bringing actors into a studio where they re-record that exact same line. But with AI, you could just go on like a website where you could enter a function and do text-to-speech and have that AI repeat that exact line in a certain tone, the exact way. So that is how AI could be used to sort of make the post process a lot easier.
It's so funny that you say that about AI and additional voiceover and stuff, because I did a documentary earlier this year,
Okay.
And everyone thought it would be a great idea, right, to AI my voice for the voiceover to see what it sounded like. Yeah. And that thing made me sound like I was Brum.
Yeah.
I sounded like I was from the Midlands. And don't get me wrong, it was nice.
Okay.
But it was not accurate. So obviously there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing this in.
Yeah, no, you're welcome.
So, Kareem, I know you're at the start of your career.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you've worked on so far?
So I've worked on 2 Warner Brothers projects. One's a thriller action movie, and it sort of leans into the AI territory as well. And one is a fantasy TV series.
How does working on a film differ to working on a TV series?
From what I've experienced so far, the only differences I've seen were the team is vastly different. With the film, there was 1 editor and 1 first assistant, whereas with this TV series, there's 5 editors and 5 first assistants. So yeah, the size is a lot big. The whole team size is a lot bigger. And also the way the naming structure is as well, it's different. So how certain where certain folders and files are placed is a lot different to what I experienced on the film. So yeah.
And I guess with there being 5 different editors, each one has their own preferences and their sort of own expectations and ways of doing things that you have to learn quite quickly.
Yeah, it's tricky because like a lot of editors, as you said, have different ways of doing things. So you have to constantly note down how each each editor likes their sort of scenes delivered to them. So yeah, it's quite tricky keeping track and constantly remembering, oh, okay, I've got to do this way, I've got to do that this way. Taking notes is the best thing to do because it's like just accessible right there.
What was your introduction into the film industry?
So through CrewHQ, I got a placement at Lee, which is the post-production office of Warner Brothers, and I did a 4-week placement there. So through that, I was shadowing various departments. I was shadowing sound. So I was watching a lot of the sound mixers and sound designers sort of work on their TV series and films. I did a lot of shadowing in the picture department as well. So I went to like the colorist and I watched them sort of how they would go through grading a film or TV series. I did a lot of shadowing with the QC department as well and like sort of the mastering. So see how they sort of hand off and deliver paperwork and footage to the studios and stuff like that.
I'm going to ask what QC is, right?
Yeah. So QC it stands for quality control.
Okay.
So it's just, So it's just constantly watching the footage and trying to nitpick and see every single thing that's wrong with the footage. So it could be like, again, like booms dropping into the shot for like 1 second.
It's supposed to be raining outside. This person is wet. What's that thing in that corner?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's making that noise?
Yeah. So it's just noting down every single thing that could be a distraction for the viewer. So yeah, just doing a lot of that. And then after the 4-week placement at Lee, I went to work at Dailies. The Dailies department is right in the middle between production and post-production.
And what was it about post-production that caught your attention in particular?
I like technology and I like watching film and watching a lot of TV series. So I'm a person that gets very excited when I'm around a lot of like very new modern technology. I just like going around just looking, even at the Apple Store, I just go around and just look at all the new phones.
Touch stuff.
All the little stuff. Just start touching everything and typing away. So and then mix that with my love for film and TV series. I just like going to the cinema a lot. I like watching a lot of TV series. So yeah, just the blend between technology and storytelling is exactly what post-production is. So that's sort of how I got into it, and that's sort of how I, found the passion for editing.
What would be a piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is starting a scheme or a traineeship?
Take a lot of notes. Yeah, just that would for me be my number one advice. Take a lot of notes. On my first job, I didn't take a lot of notes, and that hurt me later on because there were certain things I needed to do that I couldn't remember because I didn't take notes. So that's been something that's been really valuable on this production I'm on right now. So just take a lot of notes, and just no matter how little the notes are or how let's say unimportant you think it is, like everything is important in some way. So you've just got to write everything down. So that would be a big piece of advice for me.
It's one thing writing it down while someone's speaking to you, and you might feel a certain way about that, but not having that information later.
Yeah. I know. I got in trouble like numerous times because I didn't like remember certain thing, and I was like, why didn't I just write this down?
Yeah.
So that's crucial for me now. I write everything down, like no matter how small it is.
I think personally that the scariest aspect of your job would be losing footage. I was even worried to say it because I can imagine that is something that you think about all the time. Is that an irrational fear of yours?
Oh yeah, I cringe all the time. Like, what if I just accidentally delete something and like there's no way of getting it back, and I've got to tell the editor that that is a nightmare. No, I can't do that. Yeah, I've heard a lot of horror stories of, people in post that have deleted a whole like folder of footage, and I've just been like, that, like, how would I even tell someone that I've done that? But again, that's why there's backups for everything. That's why there's daily backups. So stuff like that doesn't cause huge problems later down the line.
What kind of films would you want to work on in the future?
At the moment, I want to work on every type of film, every type of genre, just to gain that experience. But something I can think of straight away would be like fantasy film, like TV shows and movies, and like just action movies as well, is something because it looks really fun filming it, and everyone looks like they're having a lot of fun filming it. So it's like, if they're having fun filming it, then that sort of resonates to everyone else, and everyone else enjoys the process too.
What has working in post-production taught you about the art of storytelling?
It's told me you have to be thorough, like very thorough. Just be very meticulous, I'd say, with what you do. Think things out and don't rush, take things slow, and just, enjoy it as well. Like, enjoy the process, enjoy just being there, and be present as well. So that's what it's taught me, I'd say.
Kareem, every week on this podcast, I like to keep my guests on their toes.
Okay.
All right? Because now is the time when I get to find out just how good your film knowledge is.
My film knowledge is
buddy.
Bad.
Yes,
I
buddy.
can't remember things.
Back yourself.
That's why I take notes.
Back yourself.
Okay,
Come
cool.
on, you can do this.
Okay.
All right, you've picked a specialist subject within the world of film and TV before coming into the studio today.
Okay.
And now is the time to be quizzed.
Cool.
On your film trivia topic.
Okay.
Which is classic comic book films.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Question number 1. In the first 2002 Spider-Man,
okay,
what new superpower was added to the film that doesn't appear in the original comic books? Is it A, the ability to naturally produce webs, B, spidey senses, or C, speed?
C.
No.
It's
A. Remember, because in the film adaptation, Peter Parker's body, it naturally produces fluid.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about like super speed.
I didn't say super speed. I said speed. So Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire, is able to shoot webs by making a specific gesture with his hand. It meant he didn't need to be a scientific genius.
I knew it was that, but the speed threw me off completely.
But don't worry, you still got 2 more. Okay. Question number 2. In the Wonder Woman franchise, what god does our lead protagonist save the world from? Is it A, Athena, B, Ares, or C, Hermes?
Athena? No.
It's Ares.
Oh,
Wonder Woman kills Ares because he's the god of war, and he secretly manipulated humanity into World War I.
Okay.
Honestly. But that's before your time.
Yeah.
All right, don't worry, because you've still got 1 question.
Okay. Hopefully I get it right.
Just shake it off.
Yeah.
Yep, last question. And we're taking it back to one of the most iconic comic book film franchises of all time.
How far back?
It's Superman, baby.
Oh, I'm going for 3.
You're going for 3?
I'm going for 3.
Do you know what?
I didn't watch those
Do you know,
movies.
this is the most confidence I've seen you have. So at least you know.
Yeah?
Yeah? And you got nothing to lose. I still respect you.
Okay.
What is the one substance Superman's X-ray vision cannot penetrate? Is it A, gold, B, lead, or C, platinum?
Lead.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, yes. I got 1. Thank you.
But well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Kareem, genuinely, it's been so great to have you in the CrewHQ studio today. Even just for myself and the listeners to learn more about what happens when the camera actually stops rolling. There will be a few people who are listening to this who I can imagine are studying film, or they may love to start a career in film. And now that you've got a couple of productions under your belt, what advice would you give to someone when it comes to getting a foot through the door? Because I know it can be intimidating, to say the least.
Just be you. Don't try to be a version that people think would like. That's what got me here. When talking to Jackie in the CrewHQ introduction day, she told me why I got here, and it was just being me. They could tell through my answers that I was just being myself. So yeah, don't try to be someone that's not you to impress other people. No, don't do that.
What would be your number one piece of advice for somebody who is starting off day one on production or post like yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it again. Just take notes. Yeah, because that's genuinely been the most crucial thing for me, at least. If you're talking about from like a work point of view, take notes. But if you're talking about like from sort of just personality, and I'd say just listen and just take everything in and be present, soak it up. Because yeah, you're only on this production for a certain period of time, and you're freelance as well, so it's always a challenge sort of getting on to the next thing or finding whatever's next. So yeah, just be present.
Thank you so much, darling, for coming to see us, and thank you for watching and listening. I'll be back next week to hear from another incredibly talented member of the film crew. Until then, take care.